It's ever since even before this COVID-19 thing started, it has felt like we are in a bad Doctor Who episode. It's just like it's like I can't believe some days the world I live in. Like I was just listening to the BBC World Service this morning, and they do have good book review programs and stuff on there. And they were announcing that the Queen is stepping down from royal duties. It was just ridiculous. It was like I was waiting for the BBC announced to break down the tears. Her Majesty is broken. It's really and like she's unable to take part in functions because she's old, and it's like the whole tone of it was like, it was like pure propaganda. I was waiting for it to, I don't know, to burst into song or something, a lament for Her Majesty, or I don't know, something like In the Ghetto, yeah, in the palace, yeah. And then the princess cried, on a cold and grey windsor morning, another little baby, royal baby is born in the palace, in the palace. Oh, people, can't you understand? Prince Philip needs a helping hand. He's got to call for Bill Gates with vaccine in hand if he's going to make out his genocidal plans. In the palace, in the palace. So that's what I was waiting for. Like that, some kind of in the palace, like in the ghetto for the poor royals. Part of me wonders if they're all dead. Oh, I'm serious about that. Like this, like just the weirdness around that royal family. And first you had like Prince Harry and his wife Meghan, is and the baby running off to Canada, and that was like, okay, you say to yourself, it's all a big setup to distract from Prince Andrew and his carry on with Epstein and those people. But I don't know, it seems more than that or something. It's like I wouldn't be surprised if Prince Philip, the Queen, and a few others of them are all Prince Charles are already dead. Like, but they can't announce it. Like something like, yeah, C-19 killed them. I really do wonder about that. They're all dead, and instead of like announcing all to the whole world, or if it's some kind of disease that only affects the royals or something, But it's like it's weird how they've collapsed. You see, in the past, when they had a kind of a scandal, they used to get away with it easy enough. They'd have a royal baby or something like that, and yet it's like it's all gone very. There's something very weird about what's going on with that bunch right now, and I don't know. It's strange. It's strange, In the palace, in the palace, on a cold and grey Buckingham morn, Prince Andrew is looking at kitty porn in the palace. But oh, that was a good one. That was the ad lib ones are always the best. That was a good one. On a cold and grey Buckingham morn, Prince Andrew is surfing kitty porn in the palace. Oh God, it's good. That was funny. Anyway, I'll probably get fucking hunted down and killed for that. But yeah, you wonder if they're dead. You do. You wonder if they're dead. Oh fuck it. Oh, here we go. Okay. Anyway, yeah, and then you see another weird thing. You see is last Thursday that asteroid did nearly clip us. I was right about that all along. It was much closer than they told us. And if that thing had have even come into the atmosphere and went out to the side, it could have set fire to so much of the world that even all the oxygen in the atmosphere could have been burned out. And all breeding animals could have been sophisticated. A fis- I'm just thinking about Prince Andrew and his computer. Whatever, they couldn't breed. And it's amazing how We haven't been hit for thousands and thousands of years, really. Not to the point where it was a civilization destroyer. You know, I often wonder if that's what happened. The original previous great civilizations that built the pyramids before, not the Egyptians before that. And this the ones like Graham Hancock talks about. And yeah, it's like down on top of that, I see the ad today for the Space Force, the U.S. military space army. And the ad shows something like a young guy looking up at the stars and rockets taking off and space stations, and he's saying the voiceover goes, maybe your destiny is not on this planet, is not on this planet, or something like that. They're creating like a kind of a science fiction space army. Now, what's that all about? You know, like it's really bizarre, and all kind of strange hidden language about invisible threats and unknown things. And I know on some levels it could be propaganda. I understand that, but at the same time too, it seems to be something that's real. The U.S. had the, the Army, the Marines, the Air Force, and the Navy, and now the Space Force. It's just bizarre. And the Pentagon a few weeks ago releases UFO footage, and people just accept it. Now, is something going on? Did they discover something up in space? Did they get a message from somewhere in space? You just don't know. Did they discover there's aliens living much closer to us, and not just literally in space, but in the dimensions next to us, which I believe they are anyway? It's just so odd. It's just so strange, and all happening during this lockdown as well. Remember, one of the biggest events that took place during this lockdown was the Space Force's first rocket launch. You know, it's like everyone was locked down, but they are, this kind of like spacing guild. That's what like they use the term spacing. I like that term that Frank Herbert used in Dune, the spacing guild. And yeah, I mean, we're living in strange times. Like I said, be amazed by what you're seeing. I went to the shops today, and I hadn't been, first time in town. I've been in a good few days, and the atmosphere has definitely changed. Everyone was buzzier and happier. I could hear a lot more people laughing and giggling and chipper, and the staff were a bit more laid back and easygoing. There seemed to be definitely has been a change in the atmosphere of the place. It's almost like the fact that countries, even though we're still stuck in a 5 kilometer zone, but the other countries like England are going back to work slowly. It's almost like people are now sort of seeing finally the light at the end of the tunnel and all this, and they're kind of seeing or sensing it, or maybe I don't think they've come to live with it, because there are certain types they do love their terror, and they love being prisoners. It's like that, they'd be quite happy staying indoors forever until no one ever died of anything. I mean, that's literally what these people are like. They're such hysterical ninnies, and definitely a different vibe today. I went into the pharmacy to get a new pair of reading glasses, and the girl behind the counter was all like buzzy and giddy and everything, and it was like that was a different vibe than last week or even 2 weeks ago, where it was just all business, that kind of thing behind, like all worried about things, serious COVID-19 stuff. So it shows you that a lot of this stuff is psychological too. That a lot of it is, like I've been saying, it's more people going to die from mental health issues caused by the lockdown than it will ever be caused by the actual virus. I'm convinced of that. And politicians are just loving it. They're absolutely just loving it. It's really strange. It's really bizarre how the whole thing is. But I'm thinking, now I'm not saying I am, I'm saying I am, but I'm thinking of maybe doing a podcast. I don't know. You see, it's work. It's a lot of work, and I do a lot of different things, and I don't want to get involved in something that will take up all my time, like my completely, and especially if I'm not getting paid for it, which I'm not going to do unless I am getting paid for it, because that's just bullshit. All these fucking truthers that say things like, "Oh, knowledge should be free." Fuck you, and everyone else is trying to make a living, and that's because they have nothing to sell to anybody. So they want everything for free. But yeah, it's like, yeah, but unless I could find a way to make money out of it, and I'm not about getting rich or anything like that, just to make it financially worth my effort and time, and not have to like live on just doing that alone. I'm thinking of doing it, but I'm not saying I am now. I'm just saying it's a thing floating in my head. But then again, at the same time too, I can make these things in the car with a phone, and they're really kind of fun as well. And then they're easy, and I can go back to what I was doing before I came in here, and it takes no real effort or anything. And it's the rural broadband around here has improved immensely in the last year, so it's it works. So is it even worth doing it, even though it might be professional and nicely produced and everything with better microphones and everything? But then I have other thoughts about maybe doing the Velocity of Now as a TV show. But again, it's like here I am, like putting all this effort and doing all these things, and I mean I'm not going to do it unless I'm reimbursed in some way. And yeah, I have the Patreon, but that Patreon is exclusively devoted to making films on the Beyond 313 channel. So like not only just production costs of getting the places, but also if a camera breaks or something, I can replace it, which was a big problem last year. My P900 and my other camera were both broken, and the trouble I had getting a battery charger was unbelievable, and the money it cost me in the end. And so that's for that. It's like a contingency fund for filmmaking. And but yeah, I mean, the podcasting does kind of appeal to me. It is a kind of an interesting idea, but I have to set up a podcasting properly. And like I said, it wouldn't be, and also I could go back. My weekend job might come back when when this is all over, this COVID-19 thing. So like that's a proper income, and I can't be like doing. So I'll need more time to think about it. But I'm just throwing the idea out there. It could be fun. I know, I know, I know I'd enjoy doing it, and I know you'd probably enjoy listening to it. But again, I'm not a charity. I'm not. Why should I be giving away things for free whenever other people are expecting payment? But yeah, so that's it. I again, it was like if it's like all these things. If you can find someone to back you, I could do anything. It's just that we exist in a world where there is no financial backing of any kind, really, and it's not like the mainstream where people get a piece of the TV license fee or advertising. That world doesn't exist in alt media, really. But it's a shame, really, because if alt media had the funding, and talking about like altruistic millionaires or something like that, and fellas like me could sit down and actually do real quality proper stuff on a regular basis, it would definitely change things. Because you look what we've done with the small bits and bobs we have at the moment, but it's like everything else in life, it takes money more than anything else, and that's just how it is. But another thing today, Maddie McCann would be 17 today if she was still alive. Imagine that. Maddie McCann went missing when she was 3, or was she even 3 when she went missing? She would be 17 years old today. That's surreal, isn't it, when you think about that? And they still have detectives looking for her, and of course, we all know that's a big smokescreen to divert from certain individuals who really were connected and really know what was going on, connected to the McCanns. But that's just a weird story. And I remember, I thought I remember I was going on holiday when it wasn't long after she vanished, and the media hullabaloo and Martin Brunt and all that stuff. And I remember I was going on holiday somewhere, America or somewhere, and I was going on a fishing holiday or something, and I remember thinking to myself, oh, they'll be arrested by this before I come back. And they never were. I mean, it was the one where it was around the time she was taken into custody and questioned and wouldn't answer the questions, which makes no sense to me. If I had a child and a child, or even a close friend or someone I loved, was missing, and the police asked me 42 questions, I'd be, yes, I can do it, whatever it takes to help. Whatever it takes to help. I'll answer any questions to find my loved one. and then she refuses to answer the questions. It's one of those strangest and bizarre and suspicious events in history, without a doubt. So she would have been 17 today. Imagine that. So today, the royals are missing. No loss there. The US military has started recruiting for its space force. Lots of mystery there. Lots of unanswered questions there. And Maddie McCann would have been 17. And yet we're all still here and we're locked down in the middle of this COVID-19 isolation, quarantine, or imprisonment, whatever you want to call the fucking thing. But, we're surviving. We're here. So that's, don't ever forget that. Treat every day as a victory, because we're lucky to be where we are when we are, and to be able to get through that at the end of the day with our sanity and our health still with us. So never, ever, ever take that for granted, and find joy in every minute you can find joy, because there's lots of pieces of shit out there who will try to steal that joy from you. So always remember that. But it's I wouldn't change being around this time for anything, because like I said, right now we have a front seat row to the greatest show ever. Nobody has seen in history what we're witnessing now, and it might even get more amazing. So eyes on the prize, and feck 'em if they can't take a joke.